All right, we've all been there. We've been dating somebody in a relationship, think they're amazing, they're
Mhm.
great, and then we realize a little while in that they haven't processed a single emotion since 2004.
Yeah, scary. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Touch My Health podcast. My name's Matt.
I'm Katie.
Today, we are going to be breaking down red flags and green flags
Red flag versus green flag. I don't know why I say red versus green. There's really no versus. There's red flags
or green
or
flags.
green flags.
Yeah.
It's not one, well, we know which one's the worst one.
And you've got notes on your phone for us today?
Yeah, well, so when you think of red flags, What what are some flags? What are some red flags that you think of? Because I have some on here that I didn't really think of.
Okay. A red flag for me that I've seen, maybe not dealt with, but love bombing. Love bombing is a huge red flag where it's like all of a sudden at once, just as soon as you meet, they're
Early. Love bomb
early
early. Yeah.
and
Never felt like this before.
yeah, buying you things and just showering you with an overabundance of emotion.
Or gifts.
Yeah, gifts too.
Mhm.
Yep.
I had that where I was definitely love bombed and uh in the way of getting like gifts or having things done for me and the nice texts and saying things and then
The good morning, the good nights every day, and
well that and just going out to eat all the time or and paying for everything, not letting me pay for anything, buying me things, uh purses,
you think that's out
or
of
jewelry, like within the first 6 months, are talking about going on a trip, took to me, yes, it is. And you can tell when after you've been together, like some of that stuff starts to fizzle out. It
yeah,
starts to fade. When they feel like they've got their
gotcha.
hooks into
Yeah.
it. Gotcha. All that shit goes away. And then
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
wait, what happened?
Where was all
I
this
thought I
nice
thought
stuff?
you've never felt like this before, and that's why you were doing all these things.
Yeah. Another one that I obviously can't stand and is a huge red flag is when somebody lies or somebody can't take responsibility for their actions or something they said.
And it may not even be like something that happens to you, but say you're dating someone and you know they lied about something, or you know that they're not taking responsibility for something they
Hmm.
did, may not even be to you. Like, don't ignore that. That is a red flag because if
Yep.
they can't do that with other people, um,
They're
they're
definitely
not
not going to do it with
gonna
you.
do it too. And
For sure. No.
yeah, I don't know if this really relates to that, but I think of one where, I was dating this person and I found out that he was at a strip club and he like lied about it. But then he tried to basically gaslight me and he was like trying to lie and say that
You didn't see
that's
me. You
well
didn't
that
see me.
like you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
I didn't go there, like I wasn't with, oh, what do you want me to take a picture outside of the building I'm at right now and send it to you? Knowing damn well that if I'd have said yes, he was outside of the strip club talking to me. Like he was blatantly lying.
He'd have went over to Whataburger and
Uh,
taken
yeah, like,
walk next door and take
but
a
no
picture.
accountability,
Yeah.
gaslight,
That's a
liar.
that's a huge one for me is the gaslighting and not being able to take responsibility for your actions. It's pretty clear and pretty evident very quickly.
Hmm. Um,
What are some red flags
well,
of
so this,
yours?
when someone says, if you're dating someone or you starting to get to know someone too, and they say all their exes are crazy,
Oh,
put a red flag, red flag, red flag. All your exes are crazy,
every
every
single
single
one.
one of them. You
Mhm.
sure not you, just a little bit, just a little bit.
Again, not being able to take accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, every girl or guy I dated is a psycho.
Mm, but
I'm
are
just saying,
they?
if I heard that on a first date or even a second or third date, I would suggest maybe do a little bit more.
A little
A
digging.
little more investigative work
Yeah.
in there because depending on the age too. Now, if you're 18, 19, you don't have that much experience dating, and maybe everyone you did date was crazy because none of y'all are grown up yet mentally and you're
It's
still doing toxic behavior.
yeah,
But
it's a possibility
yeah.
because there are a lot of crazies out there.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say like I've had um
You've had a couple
I've
crazies.
yeah, but at the same time, I've allowed myself, and I can take responsibility for that. I allowed myself to be in those situations and be with those people. I had a type, I think.
Yeah,
Not think, I know, but
definitely.
um,
Crazy was something that I always
like
attracted.
you
I
always liked.
I when I was in my younger days, yeah, it was kind of fun.
You liked crazy, or you just attracted
I
crazy?
I don't know.
You kind
Probably
of
a little
liked
bit of
it.
both. Yeah. The crazy, wild, girls and just that carefree type, but it was more on the wild and more crazy kind of side.
Yeah, I'm sure we all know what you were hoping for with that, but then it didn't really
It,
pan out.
not all the time, no.
Yeah. So
Crazy, what do they say? Freak in the sheets and a lady in the streets.
yeah, yeah, that's what
That's
most guys want, you know. Lucky
sometimes
for you, you got me.
nailed it.
Okay, so all their exes are crazy. Red flag. Uh,
what's one that sticks out to you for that's a big red flag?
someone who like plays mind games,
Oh,
and makes you feel really like small as a person. So
that comes back down to that gaslighting too.
yeah, well, like playing mind games, like not responding to you, purposefully ignoring you or hanging up on you,
Oh,
or, doing that whole like blocking you and then unblocking you a couple hours later. So,
that's
like,
pretty childish.
well, I mean, and that's not
Pretty
something I
childish.
really have
Yeah.
experience with, but I know that's definitely this generation. I'm gonna block you, and then 3 hours later, we're fine.
Yeah, we're
We're
friends again.
okay.
It's fine.
I forgot I needed to say one more thing, unblock.
Yes.
But yeah, playing mind games and like I know I think of like getting the silent treatment when, you know, a
Hmm.
significant other was mad at me,
Yeah.
like not purposely not talking to me. Um,
Oh,
just what?
just completely ghosting you out of the blue for no reason?
No, like if they're upset about something or, you know, just play the silent treatment,
Hmm.
not talking. But making you feel small too, like kind of dismissing your like if you tell them something that like a goal that you want to do or a joke or anything, they just dismiss you and make you feel really small, like your
Yeah.
goals are dumb or
Hmm.
insignificant or they're not really that big of a deal. And like,
That's stupid. You'll never be
yeah,
able to reach that. You'll never be at the top. So
yeah,
don't
like
even try.
why do you even want to do that? That sounds stupid or
Yeah.
and I mean that sounds extreme, but like people say stuff like that. You know, why
Yeah.
do you want to go do that? Like what do you think that's
Yeah.
going to do for you?
Remember
Why?
remember my friend that called me and he's the one that was like,
He
"Yeah, don't even try to get to the top because I've been there and you don't even need to try. Just don't even."
just don't do it. Yeah. Well, he was also like
I was like, "Oh my God.
uh
That's
drunk or on drugs.
one of the two or both possibly."
Hmm. Listen, I don't have a coaster, so don't joke on my toilet paper coaster that I have here.
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't want to ruin
What are you
the
drinking?
my cranberry pomegranate mocktail.
What's in it?
Mm. Cranberry juice, pomegranate juice, um, the cherry limeade pop. It's like a healthier soda, like a prebiotic type soda.
Oh,
I
I
think it's
thought we
called
were.
Poppy
Oh, yeah.
and lime juice. You thought was what? You thought I was getting crunk?
No, I thought we were fixing to have the conversation of pop versus soda.
Oh, hell, I would not. I would not call soda pop. It is soda.
It is soda.
I do not say pop.
I
No.
think that's a Midwest thing, but what else is in it? Anything else?
The it's all natural cranberry juice, pomegranate juice, like not the ocean spray, like the
The all natural kind?
yeah, the expensive kind.
That's healthy.
And that cherry limeade probiotic, prebiotic, whatever, soda and lime juice.
Yum.
It is
That's
good.
delicious.
It is. I'm sure it would be good with vodka too, but I'm not drinking that right now.
Yeah.
Um, so another red flag is constant drama. Like
Oh,
this person is always in drama with someone, not necessarily you, but could be with their boss, their ex,
well,
their
there's always, yeah, there's
baby mama,
always
baby daddy, this friend. Like there's always,
always drama anywhere
or
they go.
or two, they have friends that they talk shit about behind their back. Was in that situation too, where I was with someone who, to all his friends' face, he was great. Like, but he would always have some shit to say about them behind their back, like with what they were doing in their life or whatever. And it
Mm.
was just now I'm like, God, you're so like just
That
so negative and
that's
so
two-faced.
yeah,
Super two-faced. That's someone that you can't trust because
mm,
if they're talking about their so-called best friends behind their back, talking shit behind their back, then what are they saying about
mm,
you?
yeah,
They're not sticking up for their friends or not saying nice things about their own friends and people they call friends. That's pretty wild.
yeah. And what makes you think that they're gonna be um honest and faithful to you?
Probably not.
Yeah. I know another big red flag that people talk about a lot is jealousy or like possessiveness, but I
Yeah.
think it's a red flag to me if it's in an extreme case. Um like why are you out so late? Who are you with? What are you doing? Where are you at? Constantly calling, constantly calling, constantly calling, constantly calling, FaceTime. Stay on FaceTime with me. Show me your face. Show me where you are. Show me what you're doing right
Oh my
now.
gosh. Yeah.
Like, or just very like the extreme jealousy, the extreme possessiveness, that's a red flag. But I think it's only to really the extreme.
We see that with our daughter where they hang out on FaceTime with their
They just
s-
sit there.
significant other on the phone, just not even talking to the person, but it's like, why can you not disconnect for a little bit? Like you're at the house just chilling and you
Yeah, something.
yeah, just be just unable to disconnect for an hour or whatever it is. That does sound like a little bit of that control factor where they have to know where you are or what you're doing and it
The
can seem it
possessiveness.
can seem cute at first, but it can definitely come across as controlling and
Hmm.
almost manipulative.
Well, yeah, and I think it's that possessive nature, that possessiveness, like you're mine. And when it gets to the extreme, that's when you're viewed more as an object and a thing that belongs to that person, not really a person anymore. Like we watched that what was it?
The
This the
documentary.
it was the I it's called I Am a Stalker on
Oh God,
Netflix, and
yeah.
it's a series, and it has like a new case every
They're like an hour
um
long,
yeah,
episode
every
five.
episode. And the underlying theme of that, what it's like all these guys, I haven't seen a girl yet on it. I'm sure there will be, but all of these individuals who are locked up for and some of them actually, I think the first one, like guy killed himself. But
Yeah.
the underlying issue is the jealousy and the possessiveness to
Mm.
the extreme. They have such uh or had have such like childhood traumatic events or just mental health issues that did not allow them to disassociate between certain things. And as far as the possessiveness, that was one of the things they said is they start to view you as an object or a thing that is
Mhm.
theirs. And even if they don't want that thing anymore, they don't want anyone else to have it. They don't want to lose it, but you become dehumanized. Like you're not a person anymore. They don't even look at you that way.
It's almost like that fear of abandonment
I'm
where
sure that's a
where
Underlying issue.
somewhere where it comes from is that
Mhm.
fear of abandonment where they're scared that you're going to leave them and and if you do leave them, they're going to find you. And
Yeah, that some of those mofos were, I mean, all of them crazy, but some of them, whoo, man.
they're pretty wild stories.
Yeah. And I don't mind a little bit of jealousy and a little bit of possessiveness. Like I don't mind it. A little,
Yeah.
maybe that's my red flag. I don't mind a little bit.
A little is
But
okay, but
yeah.
like you said, in the extreme, that's a huge red
Hmm.
flag.
Yeah, for sure. Another one that I thought was interesting is inconsistent hot and cold. So like they're super into you one week and then distant the next. Like it's up down like a roller coaster.
Hmm.
I can think back to and I'm like, yep, check. I was there also. Damn,
Yeah.
I really just had the goggles on.
Went through that gamut of just
Mhm.
red flag after red
Well,
flag.
I feel like when they're inconsistent, hot and cold,
Mhm.
it's they're playing a mind game. So it to me it falls in the same line as playing mind games because it's like, fishing there. Put the rod out there,
Yeah.
string you along with a little bit of bait, reel you in, throw you back out.
Mhm.
And then reel you back in, throw you back out. Just to keep you around.
Yeah. And it is all about wanting you to chase them and make sure that you're, like you said, you're around and wanting them, and then they're just standoffish.
Yeah, that's probably right. That's probably it too, because you both are doing a little cat and mouse game chasing, and
Yeah.
then when they feel like they're doing too much chasing, they back off because they want you to chase them.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I would say if you see these red flags, so love bombing very early on,
Mm.
saying all their exes are crazy, um, avoids, well, I don't know that we talked about these two, doesn't respect boundaries and avoids emotional conversations.
The respecting boundaries, I actually had to have a talk with my daughter about this, with a boy that she was seeing for I don't know, couple few weeks. And he got mad because she didn't text him back. Like her and I were hanging out. I don't remember what we were doing, but we were out somewhere, and she didn't text him back because, we were hanging out, probably doing dinner or something. And like he blew up her phone, calling four, five, six times, texted her these long text messages, and then started being vile and
Yeah, no
throwing,
bueno.
throwing out, you're an awful person, you're a bitch, this and that, the other, because you didn't text me back. And it's like, bro, it's been an hour. And I told her, I said,
Red flag.
that's a huge red flag. And that is something that you've got to identify. And if that's the case, you've got to
Yeah.
be done with that guy.
Yeah, if you have someone who's pushing your physical or emotional limits after you've already said no
Yeah.
or clearly expressed a boundary and they continue to try to push it or cross it, that's
Yeah.
no bueno.
Definitely a red flag and something to identify. And you either address it with that person or you just tell them, no mas, no,
Kick rocks.
no, thank
Kick
you.
rocks.
Yeah.
Another one is avoids emotional conversation. So like someone who always changes the subject or jokes when things start to get serious. Um,
Well, some people are uncomfortable with serious conversations.
I was gonna say I feel like this was a red flag that I had, like that I possessed
Yeah.
for a long time because I didn't really like to talk about, communication was kind of tough for me,
Mhm.
and I didn't really like to get down deep into things or talk about like emotional stuff or
It's
I
tough.
can definitely see myself joking, making jokes, or like kind of avoiding the subject when
Brushing it
topics would
off.
come up about um, emotional
Yeah.
um,
How your mental space is. Yeah.
conversations. Yeah.
Having those deep conversations, those can be very vulnerable and very tough. And I don't think that's something that you get into right away into a relationship, but
I don't know. Me and you did pretty fast, but I think by that point we were like, listen,
Yeah.
let's just get all this out here.
Yeah.
Let's just get all the stuff out.
Well, I'm, 41 now, I think, and I don't have time to waste. It's
Yeah, well,
we have played
yeah,
20-year-old
playing
games.
these games.
Yeah.
Listen, this is
This-
who I am. This is
yeah.
what I've done. This
Mhm.
is what I got.
Yep.
What do you got?
I think the emotional unavailability too is, I don't know if we touched on that one, but somebody that isn't okay with showing emotion, either having emotion or expressing emotion
Hmm.
um, to you, or it kind of almost goes back to somebody not being able to open up and or have physical contact, or uh, isn't okay with displaying their emotion, very just kind of stone face all the time and not really willing to open up. And I don't know.
Yeah, someone not willing to open up and avoid
Yeah, I feel like that can be part of it too. That can be a red flag, depending on the circumstance, I think.
yeah, for
Some
sure.
people may not want to open up about certain
It just
things that
it
happened,
may
but
take time.
yeah, but I think the emotional unavailability and not being able to show emotion can certainly be a red flag.
Yeah, agreed. And then also like severe jealousy or possessiveness,
Yep, talked about that.
the inconsistent hot and cold, playing mind games, making you just feel really small and insignificant and not apologizing,
Hmm.
or owning up and holding themselves accountable for their actions, and then constantly being in drama. Those are red flags, for those of you out there in the dating
Yeah,
world. Well, or your relationship. So you could be in a relationship and be miserable, and then all of a sudden hear some of these and be like, oh, check, check,
yeah,
check, check. Maybe I need to
yeah.
do something about
What are
this.
some red flags for the audience you guys have noticed, maybe that we
Yeah.
didn't touch on yet? But drop them in the
Yeah.
comments. We'd love to hear them.
Tell us your red flag.
Yeah.
And if you are the red flag, let's let's hear about that. And just be honest, Admit I'm the red flag.
Sometimes
Babe,
sometimes you are.
do I have any red flags, honey?
Do you have red
Do I have red
flags?
flags?
Yeah. Yeah. You do.
You're not supposed to say that, so t take longer next time.
Oh, let me think about it.
Yeah. What would you say is a red flag that I have?
You're messy.
Talk about that. That wasn't a red flag that came up. What do you mean? I am not messy.
It's
Look at me not holding myself accountable.
yeah, there's a red flag.
I'm not messy.
Okay.
I'm just
No,
saying.
I don't think there's any red flags that are like obviously not a relationship killer for us. They're just little things. But I'm also very picky.
Was gonna say, are you gonna ask me what?
Yeah, what's my red flag?
I was thinking, um, your I don't want to say anger, but your irritability. Like you get really irritable really fast sometimes. Low
Sometimes.
patience.
Yes. I'm not a doctor. I don't have patience.
But it's such a dad joke. I don't have patience.
There's I mean, I don't like wasting time, and I feel like sometimes when things are going on or something, I don't have time to wait. I just don't.
You probably do. You're just impatient.
Yes, I am impatient for sure.
Okay. Well, now let's talk about some green flags.
Okay.
Green flags. Some good things. So when you think of green flags, what are some green flags that you think of?
Communicating. Somebody that can communicate well. uh, about, you know, feelings or
Anything.
anything really. Communication to me is huge. It's something that I lacked when I was younger, and am still working on now. Obviously, I am not perfect, but I think
Nonsense. You are perfect.
nonsense, poopy pants. I think being able to communicate is a huge green flag in for anybody, whether you're in a relationship or not. Just being able to be like, hey, this is bothering me, or hey, you did such a good job, and I just want to tell you that I
Hmm.
appreciate you. Just, I mean, both ways, good and bad.
Well, and I think of in the world that we're in now with um, what we're talking about, where like people don't respond fast,
Hmm.
and then they lose their mind or whatever. But someone who communicates clearly and says like, "Hey, I'm busy. I'll text you right back." Taking the 2 seconds just to be like, I saw you called, but I can't talk right now.
Yeah.
Like that kind of communication too. Someone who just knows how to communicate effectively and clearly so there's no confusion.
What's a good green flag for you?
Um,
One off the top of your head.
Someone who I can count on and rely on.
Oh,
Like they're a dependable person. When they say they're going to do something, they do it and they do it how they said they were. Shows to me that you're dependable, you have integrity, and
I like that.
that's that's important.
Yeah. Somebody that you can depend on, be it friend or in a
Hmm.
relationship too.
Yeah.
That's huge because your word is your bond, you know what I mean? And it's that's a big one to be able to lean on somebody and know that they're gonna be there if they say they're gonna be there.
Yeah. And someone who takes accountability and like holds themselves accountable and responsible for their mistakes and doesn't try to deflect or turn it around and
Where
just
somebody
get
else is.
defensive.
Yeah.
They hold themselves accountable. They admit when they made a mistake or messed up
Hmm.
and own it and don't just say sorry and then keep repeating the behavior, but actually don't, you know,
Yeah,
they
they
don't
change.
do it again.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, like we said in the last couple episodes ago, that sorry has to come with actions behind it. It can't
Right.
just be sorry, I'm sorry.
Sorry, same time next week?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Right. It has to come with
Mhm.
some sort of
But people also have to, when someone says that and they're doing just sorry, sorry, and and it's just words, the other person needs to just shut it down too. Don't give them a second chance, third chance, fourth chance, fifth chance. Don't keep sitting there letting them just say sorry and then walk all over you again because they know they can.
yeah.
You have to have the strength to just remove that person from your life.
Yeah, I think giving somebody a second chance is okay, depending on the situation, because you have to give them the opportunity to change. And then if they do it a second time, then it's, you know,
Yeah.
then that's who they are, and they're not going to change, or they don't want to, and to for you.
Or they're doing it because they're trying to push the boundaries and push your boundaries and
Yeah.
see how far you'll let them go.
Hmm.
And when you keep letting them go,
What's another green flag?
um, emotionally consistent, showing up in a similar way, like always being willing to discuss their emotions, but
Yeah.
being emotionally consistent, not like hot or cold, but
Right.
they're the same. You don't have to worry about how are they going to be acting this week? How are they going to be acting today? Or what am I going to get today?
Oh,
What am
yeah.
I going to get?
What?
What kind of person am I going to, they're consistent. They're emotionally consistent
Yeah.
day in and day out.
And you can have bad days. That's okay. But yeah, definitely
Even bad days,
not that.
though.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had bad days and we're not like, fuck you.
Right. Right. Throwing around hateful words and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
I hate how you chew so loudly. Gosh.
The the emotional side of that can really uh, be a green flag when somebody can tell you how they're feeling and be able to express that because then it shows a little bit about that vulnerability.
Hmm. Well, and also another one is they can sit in discomfort without shutting down. So being able to talk about the hard things,
Mm,
saying like this is hard to talk about, but I want to try, or but
yeah.
I want us to work through this, or whatever it is, and being able to sit in that discomfort and still, in a healthy way, get through it without just completely shutting down.
Yep. Yep. Which is huge because it comes back down to conflict resolution and being able to uh, talk about it and hold yourself accountable as well as holding somebody else accountable.
Hmm.
And like I said, some of those conversations they can get tough. And sitting there and having that tough conversation is a really great thing sometimes for a relationship.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Another green flag is secure and trusting. So being, secure in yourself and trusting in your partner, secure in your relationship,
Hmm.
friendship, whatever it is, and trusting in them. Like instead of they're out, like
Yeah.
you went out with, our friend, when you go on Mondays and you go to this place downtown, and I'm not like every 5 minutes calling, texting, when I tell you, have, be safe, have a good time, ask you about it later, whatever. But
Hmm.
there's a sense of security and trust and not, you know, when they're out, you're like, what are you doing now? What are you doing now?
Right.
Call, FaceTime.
Yeah. Well, and trust is a huge thing that you have to have with somebody, be it a friend or in a
Hmm.
relationship to be able to grow and
Yeah, and doing it, sometimes it's done in a sneaky way too, because my last relationship, my ex, we would joke about it. My friends and I would joke about it because anytime I would go out with them, like to dinner, and we weren't going out to like the clubs or anything, but if I said, oh, I'm going to go have dinner with so and so, or, it's a girls, like we're going to do a
right.
girls something, and like never failed. We would always joke, be like, he's going to call at least once, at least once with something like, oh, hey, where's this or what? He would always find some way to call me. And it wasn't that I minded, but it felt like it wasn't really that wasn't why you were calling.
Hmm.
You're just and then
Seeing if
and
you
then
would
when I'm
answer.
and then when I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go. Like, well, why do you need to go so fast? Or, it's like, because I'm
I'm out with the
with my
girls. Yeah.
friends or I'm having dinner with so and
Right.
so.
Yeah.
So it may not always even be like hey, what are you doing? Where are you at? But they cover it up and do it sneakily.
Mm.
Hey, where's my phone? You're on it.
You're talking on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something stupid.
Yeah.
Um,
I could see that where it would get super annoying, but the trust in someone is huge, and it goes back to being able to depend on that person. Because I mean, an untrustworthy person
it's not dependable.
is not dependable, and vice versa. Somebody that is not dependable isn't trustworthy, and somebody that you can trust and depend on would definitely be a green flag.
Yes. And someone who also supports your growth, like someone who wants to see you win, they want to see you succeed. They're not intimidated by your success or
Mm.
intimidated by you growing. They encourage you, they tell you, they're proud of you, or, just they're there to support you and they're your cheerleader for you.
Yep. Those are huge. Having mentors is a great green flag. And there's a great saying that's if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to change your room. Somebody that is going to help you grow or push you to grow and chase your dreams, whatever
Hmm.
those are, and be able to motivate you.
Yeah, not someone saying, Are you sure you want to do that? Like,
Are you sure? Probably
I
not.
don't think it's gonna work. Like, I think that's a bad idea. Or here, let me tell you all the reasons why this won't work instead of, you know, looking for the good or the positive and tell
Mhm.
you why it's going to. But someone who supports your growth is really good, good green flag. And then someone who has stable relationships all around. Like they don't have anything bad to say. They're not like, oh, all my exes are psychos. They're like, oh, it just didn't work out because of this, that, or the other. They have good, stable relationships with family, friends,
Mhm.
coworkers. Um, I don't know if people would agree or if this is like a proven thing, but I think when you look at someone in their relationships that they have with their family, their friends, their coworkers, if they have good relationships there and healthy relationships there, to me that says that they probably know how to maintain a good, healthy relationship. If they're, I think of, for instance, certain people I know that are not have a lot of red flags.
Right.
And they like don't have a lot of friends. They don't have any really.
Yeah,
They
somebody
don't
that
have good family relationships.
Mhm. Somebody that doesn't have friends. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's weird, but
Yeah, like no friends. Like you don't hang out with nobody.
right.
I mean, I don't have a ton of friends, but I have, I mean,
Yeah,
if I wanted to go hang out with someone now, I could.
right. Yeah, having stable relationships, with family or friends or whatever, that's a
Hmm.
huge, yeah, that's a huge one.
And it's not about the quantity. I'm not saying like having a ton of friends or,
Right.
because it's about the quality, not the quantity, for
Definitely.
sure. But that the quality of those relationships with family, friends, coworkers, whoever it is, their children,
And they're able
is
to hold those relationships through,
right.
decades or whatever.
Right. And when you see that there is some sort of conflict or, how is it being resolved? How are they handling it? How are they taking it? How are they addressing it?
Hmm. For
So,
sure. I think somebody with a positive mindset is another green flag.
hmm.
Somebody that can stay positive in a negative environment. I think that's something good. Somebody that looks on the bright side of things. You said somebody that is positive, and it kind of sparked that in my mind is somebody that just kind of always looks on the bright side of things. I think is a huge green flag for a person.
Yes, because that can be contagious too. If you're
Oh,
somebody who's kind
100%.
of more negative thought, or I don't know what more.
Pessimistic.
Yeah, maybe that's the word I'm thinking of. I don't know. There's another one, but
There's optimist and pessimist, and
yeah.
that's
So if you're more of a pessimistic person, you start hanging out with an optimistic person, that's going to you're going to become more optimistic.
for sure.
Hopefully the optimistic person wins and they don't start becoming pessimistic because people feed off each other's energy and
Yeah.
they say that you are the company you keep. And I think that's true. If you hang out with people who are not great people,
Yeah.
you're going to be, I forget, we heard something that said if you have, oh, I wish I knew where this came from. If you have four friends that do bad things and break the law, do drugs, whatever, you will become the fifth.
Mm,
If you have four friends who
so
are
true.
successful, who are going to school, you know, um,
Doing better in
doing
life.
better in
Yep.
their life, are honest, positive, you'll become the fifth. So you are the company that you keep.
Yep. Yeah. My mom always said that positive things happen to positive people. And I couldn't agree more. It's it's a great quote
Hmm.
that she has told me uh, since I met her at 15. She's like, positive things happen to positive people, and it really helped change my attitude to being more positive.
Yes, and that is something I struggle with though sometimes, and I'll be honest with that. Sometimes the negative thoughts creep in and they can
Red
start to,
flag. Red flag.
yeah, I know. I know, babe. Just put a big red flag over me. Um, but I'm able to stop the spinning, when your mind starts spinning and you start ruminating and you start
Mhm.
going down the rabbit hole. and you're tripping out and Alice in Wonderland's everywhere and you're like, "Oh my God." And then you see the cat and no,
Cheshire
just
cat.
me.
No, just you.
Uh, but yeah, but I know now and I have tools now to get out of that, but it
Yeah.
does
Being able to break that
does
cycle.
happen.
Yeah, you have to because
Hmm.
you'll just run down a big black hole of, you know, negative thoughts.
Okay, so what would you say is my best green flag if you could think of one?
Your best green flag?
Well, yeah, because there's more than one.
There's like 70.
Oh, honey, you're so sweet.
Your best green flag, I think, is your ability to express your emotion and express it clearly.
So crazy though that you say that because gosh, that was not me for the longest time. I did not
Oh, you've made
communicate
changes
and
then.
express my emotions well at all. Um, so I'm glad that you said that because at least I know I'm improving.
You're improving.
I have improved.
Yes,
Um,
for sure. I like the way that you can effectively communicate and we can talk about the hard things.
without screaming and yelling at each other and it
Yeah.
turning into a pissing match and who's hurt more and
That won't ever happen in my life ever again. We won't live like that.
yeah.
Period. It's not unacceptable and it's not something that I will allow.
My
That crosses my boundary.
yeah.
I dealt with that in my marriage and that's
Oh
something
yeah.
that I won't ever go back to
No, will not.
because I don't want to live unhappy with you. You know, we can have a bad moment, but that moment can pass and then, you know,
Hmm. Yeah, for
we can
sure.
get over it.
Yes. Are you gonna?
Yep, what's my green flag, babe?
I'd say I think my biggest one for you is how you, even though you're not the most patient person, I feel like you are patient with me when I need you to be, and you're very um
I think,
selfless in that when I need something from you, you even if it may be something you don't want to do in that moment, I know you still do it for me because it's what I need. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah, I tend to agree, but I think that the selfless part comes from, you know, it's my show of love for you
Yeah.
because it's not always about me. If it makes you happy, then
Yeah. Yeah. See? Green flag. Match your cup. Green cup.
I appreciate that.
Well, so, but also, what do you think are some red flags that you can remember? Like when you look back on situations, you can identify them now. You're like, that was a red flag that I blatantly or ignored
In myself or in someone else?
in someone else.
Oh, okay.
Like looking back at it, you're like that. Yeah, I definitely ignored that. Like you ignored it, not that you didn't see it, but you ignored it.
Mm. The Friends one. Um, I was with a woman for a while, and every time she had a friend, it lasted maybe 2 to 3 months, and then something drama would happen,
Mm.
and the relationship, their friendship would just implode, and there was no accountability on her side. It was always somebody else's fault.
And so you knew that was a red flag, but you
I was
just
like,
ignored
well,
it.
maybe they are just crazy. Yeah. And then it happened like, I don't know, the third or fourth time. And I was like, well, maybe it's not just them.
But
Yeah.
I'm still gonna go and
Yeah.
we're still gonna keep doing this.
Yeah. We did for a little while.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Uh, what about you? Red flags that you missed that you haven't mentioned already?
No, that I like looking
Overlooked.
back,
Yeah.
I just overlooked.
One that you haven't mentioned yet.
Oh, I don't know if I haven't mentioned it, but I mean, I don't know that I'd say it was a red flag, but like they cheated and I took them back.
Uh,
And I had proof, like I knew it, but I
yeah.
let them manipulate their way into me forgiving them.
Infidelity is part of that trustworthy one too. And depending on the situation, I mean, infidelity can be overcome, but if you allowed it to happen multiple times, then yeah. If
Yeah.
and what if they cheated on previous exes also? They cheated on you once,
I
and then
can't,
they
I,
cheated on
are you trying to say
past
are you trying
exes.
to say that once a cheater, always a cheater?
No, I'm not saying that at
Okay, I
all.
was gonna
But I'm
say, 'cause I
saying,
can't get behind that
did
statement.
you recognize that pattern?
No, because I didn't know that. Like
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't know
The history. Yeah.
if they did that or not. Um,
Yeah. I can agree to that too. Once a cheater, always a cheater. I've cheated on a couple of,
I no, but I wouldn't say
I,
that.
that's what I'm saying. I agree with that. I don't think once a cheater, always
Oh,
a cheater.
I was gonna say,
Because
wait a minute, what?
you could definitely change and you're with somebody that you trust and somebody that you love.
Yes, I agree, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I definitely have done some pretty crappy things in my past too, and have been able to hold myself accountable. But
Yeah.
one thing that I remember about a red flag within myself is, like you said, the my patience. If you think my patience is thin now, 20 years ago it was even less.
Shit, not 20 years ago, 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, and a red flag in myself that I knew but just ignored and tried to justify with other reasons was I was a cheater. I was a habitual cheater, and I blamed the other person all the time for why I did what I did and tried to find justification in it so I wouldn't feel bad.
Hmm. Rather than holding yourself accountable and it
Yep.
was somebody else's fault.
Yeah. And it sucks now because
Yeah.
if you're that person telling you now when you finally come to your senses and the realization and you do hold yourself accountable, regret is a much worse feeling
Yep.
for sure.
Hmm. Yeah. I can definitely I don't have regrets, but it definitely
You don't have regrets at
no.
all in life in general?
No. No regret.
We're gonna have to do another topic on
No
that.
regrets. Because the things that you've done in your past have led you to be the person you are today. And your past doesn't necessarily define your future.
I agree, but there are still some things I regret that I wish I had not done. For
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
I could have done without the lesson.
Sometimes those
Just
lessons
saying.
are good.
Yeah, no, I agree, but some of them I could have, if I could go back,
Done without.
I could have done without.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Anything else?
I think that you're a major green flag.
Oh, thanks, Betty. Are we
Okay,
gonna
so
close?
yeah. Well, I want to know what your red flags are. Drop your red flags in the comments.
Yeah.
And then what are your favorite green flags? Or maybe some green flags that we didn't cover.
Oh, yeah, green flags that we didn't cover. Those are good too. Positive and negative. The red flags and green flags. Drop them in the comments,
Yes.
and we'll see you on the next episode of Touch My Health podcast. Thanks for joining us today.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Thank you for joining us today. If you learned something and our stories resonate with you, subscribe to our podcast. That's a zero-cost way to support our channel. You can also follow us on Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok. They're linked in the description of the episode. We'd love for you to put any questions, comments, or suggestions for future episodes in the comment section on YouTube. We'll read them all. Again, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate your interest. And as always, we remind you to be the best version of yourself. See you next time on the Touch My Health podcast.